Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Adult Child of Dysfunction. Today we have with us Irin Rubin. She is the founder and CEO of Mama Zen, a global mental wellness platform that helps parents manage their anxiety and emotional overwhelm. She was inspired by the challenges in her own motherhood journey and thus created Mama Zen as a scalable solution that is now being used in over 45 countries, utilizing a combination of psychology, mindfulness, and AI technology. First of all, I want to say I love that because boy, what I wouldn't have done to have some kind of app to help me navigate when I had three children and wanted to tear my hair out. So, welcome, Erin.
Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, that's how I felt before I started Mama Zen, that nothing was working well. So I'm happy to be here and to share what we do and how we can help parents just enjoy the journey more.
So the app, I'm just going to ask a little bit about the app first, and I know we'll probably jump back into that. But is it like a guide, a tool, a guidance, like gives them checklists, or is it more of like a how are you feeling today? How can I help you kind of thing?
Yes, Mama Zen is more of an emotional regulation tool. We don't really use scripts. And the reason is because children, as you know, grow up and they start exhibiting different behaviors in different ages, and scripts don't work so anymore. So what we focus on is helping the parent regulate themselves. And when you're regulated, it doesn't really matter how your child will behave because you'll have the tools to still keep yourself calm and not reactive, which is the most important thing.
Right.
So yeah, we don't give them tools. Everything is audio guided, and we really do the work for you because there's no moments of silence. Everything is very directed at calming your nervous system down right now, getting you out of fight or flight, and helping you basically to create a different reality, which is an amazing tool.
Yeah, talk about that, about a different reality. Because I know people,
So we're
what is
all
that?
stuck in cycles. So trigger happens, our subconscious mind goes to what it's familiar with, and we react the same way over and over and over again. We know we don't want to behave this way. We know that this is not effective parenting. We know our child will probably experience shame, um, be hurt, and we don't want to do this to our child. Unfortunately, because the subconscious mind is very powerful, it controls about 85% of our mind power, it goes back to what it knows constantly. So, in order to really change those cycles, you have to work with the subconscious mind. Now, consciously, if I tell you right now, relax, you will not come down. You actually might
Right.
even get more upset.
Because
So,
you
what
can't
we
make yourself
do,
relax. Exactly.
it doesn't work because
Mm.
you're already flooded. So, what we do with Mama Zen is the beginning of every session, we calm your nervous system down. And it's actually very, very nice because a lot of us forgot what it feels like to just be calm. We're chronically walking around in fight or flight. Modern life is very, very difficult and very demanding. So we need to figure out what tools work for us so we can remember what that feels like to just be calm. So that's what we start with. And when you're calm, it's much easier to access the subconscious mind. So then the meat of the session is basically starting to create a new reality for you. And what does that mean? So you have the science of neuroplasticity. The more positive thoughts, behaviors, and experiences you have, the more positive neural connections you create in your mind. That's what we work with. We start through visualization, helping you to create a new positive experience. So next time you're triggered, your mind actually goes to the positive reaction instead of the reactivity. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Absolutely. And it makes that's what I do too. I work with people on calming and breathing and
Yes.
trying to get them to explain that you can't talk yourself out of a heightened state. You can't be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm stressed out. I don't need to be stressed out." You need to also practice these things when you're not in a heightened state. And I think that's what your thing is, like you do these sessions not when you're angry. You don't pick up your app and go, "I need this." It's continual so that you're at a steady flow all the time. Am I correct in that?
So we have both. We have
Okay.
emergency sessions. I'm flooded right now. I have 5 minutes. I need to calm down right now. Those work very well. But if you want to start to exhibit this behavior in the long term, then yes, you need to do this work continuously and just practice. Like
Right.
anything else you practice and master, this is the same exact thing. So yes, you can be flooded right now, do a session on Mama Zen, come down in the moment. But the most important thing I think is learn the skill.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I tell people too, like, have that toolbox of all the different tools that work for you because, like you said, there's no script, there's no this works for every single person every single time. You have to know what's going to calm your own nervous system down. But if you have those tools and you practice them, it becomes, like you said, muscle memory. I mean, that neuroplasticity where you all of a sudden, instead of going to reactive, you're like, oh, wait, I can, your mind goes, okay, I can react or I can breathe deeply for 3 seconds and see what happens.
I think also the most amazing thing about doing this and having your kids see you do it is they learn that
Mhm.
this is something we do. This is how you teach emotional regulation. They copy us on everything. They see how we behave, then they exhibit the same behavior. So if my child is flooded and I start to know this, it's triggering me, and I tell my child, let's do this together. Let's go to the sink real quick and put like really cold water on our hands. And your child joins you, and together you both come down. Then your child will do this with their children. And this is how exactly you break generational cycles. None of us grew up with parents that said, I needed to go on timeout. I will not be yelling right now. I actually feel like I want to go outside for 5 minutes and calm down. We didn't grow up with this, so we don't really
Yeah.
have those tools in our toolbox, and that's exactly why tools like Mama Zen exist. We have to learn emotional regulation, and parents should prioritize it because it is going through, we are giving it to the next generation. That's amazing.
Yeah, I love that you said do it with your children. I just was on, I don't know, a thing popped up on Threads yesterday, and it literally said, "My daughter triggers me so bad, and I don't know how to calm myself down. What do I do with her?" Like, and I said, "Well, you said the perfect words. What do I do with her?" Like, you take a moment, you breathe, and then
Mhm.
you do whatever you have to do with her. Like, teach her yoga, teach her deep breathing, say mommy's really upset right now, like this is what I don't mean to yell at you, always, take accountability, but then breathe with her, show her how to, you know express emotions safely. And that is, you're so right, because I don't know how I kind of had this innate feeling like I was never shown any kind of emotional regulation. If my parents were pissed, they were pissed. And I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to be mad. I wasn't allowed to be sad. I wasn't allowed really to be anything. But I always kind of knew, like when I had my first child, I was like, okay, they can't see me like this. This is not good for their little bodies. And I hadn't even really started, I was just at the beginning of my healing journey. This is like 30 years ago. So I was just starting to realize even all the baggage, quote unquote, baggage that I had from my parents. But I just knew that I couldn't do it in front of them. And so they didn't see those emotional outbursts. And that's where I taught myself you know, the power of the pause. Like, no matter
Yes.
what I did, what I said, what happened, I always just breathed a couple times, take a couple deep breaths before I said or did anything. You know,
Yes.
it's even like with spanking. I was like, if you need to spank your child, I'm not totally against that, but don't haul off and punch them or slap them. You know what I mean?
So you mentioned a few things here. So in my book, actually, the Mamas and Parenting Method, you mentioned a few of the steps of how to not be so reactive. And awareness is one of the most important things. You need to be aware of your behavior, of your triggers. Your child triggering you is not the child, it's actually you. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to really, instead of throwing it at them, it's my child's fault. Focus on yourself and ask yourself, why is this so triggering? Is it something from my childhood? Where is this coming from? So awareness is the first step to really healing and overcoming this generation cycles of anger and yelling and spanking. And then you have to really pause, because the pause is what directs your reaction. Am I going to yell and lose it, or am I going to choose the other path? And then the other path is really calming your nervous system down. So co-regulation is a chapter in my book, because I think there's a misconception here. I need to tell my child to relax. That's not co-regulation.
No.
Your child cannot go from like 100 to zero. They don't have the skills. You need to show them how to do it. So co-regulation is really doing it together. If it's through deep breaths, and I notice it with my younger child, she's more emotional. She's not auditory. So when she gets flooded, she doesn't hear what I say. So I don't even waste my time with words with her. I just start deep breathing, and by the third breath, she's with me on it. And
Yeah.
she's coming down, and she doesn't even realize she do it. Our nervous systems are so connected, even when they're outside of the womb. And if we don't know how to regulate our own nervous system, then they won't learn how to do it. So it's very important. Be aware of what the cycle is. Pause, like you said. Choose your reaction. Be intention about it. And that's how it's the fastest way out of this spiral.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can go on. I mean, and there's so much else involved in it, but with the guilt and all of this stuff, because
Yes.
so many of the parents, like you said, we grew up traumatized. We grew up being told to suck it up, buttercup, don't feel your emotions. And when you're right, when a child triggers you, your natural instinct is to be like, they're driving me
Yes.
crazy, they're out of control, they're this, where really if you sit and think about it, no, they're just being children.
Guilt is very strong emotion in motherhood, and it takes out a lot of your space. Your racing thoughts come from guilt. Your anxiety comes from guilt. Shame is very strong. So guilt is really something that mothers have to work on, and society really puts it on us, a big label. If you're not a great, perfect mom, then guilt is where you belong. And I think we need to stop with the guilt trips on ourselves. I think
Mhm.
this is something us as mothers have to put a stop to it.
Yep.
It doesn't move us forward. It actually takes us backwards. It creates a lot of other emotions that just rob us from enjoying parenting our children. So we have sessions to overcoming guilt in Mama Zen, because it's a very important topic. It's just not necessary. It's not moving us forward. And I think that once moms hear it, you just don't need it. Just
Right.
don't let it affect you so much. Think about repair. Repair has a lot more positive, um, it's going to positively affect your relationship with your child. It's going to help them understand that things happen, arguments happen, yelling happens, but repair is the most important thing. So instead of guilt trips, work on repairing, and apologizing is very, very important for the child to see it, to experience it, and feel safe again.
Yes. Absolutely, because I can remember that with the fights with my mom versus the fights, like not even the fights. I very seldom even had to raise my voice at my children, but I can remember when that was the biggest difference. And I would sit and reflect on that. Like I would you snap at my daughter and then be like, I'm so sorry. I
Mhm.
don't know where that came from, but that was not right. So, and I remember sitting there thinking, wow, I never got an apology
Yeah.
ever. It was always me. So which internalize the kid internalizes if the parent doesn't apologize, then the kid believes that it was their fault,
Yes.
that they did cause it. And that's the internalization of the shame, the shame cycles. That's where it starts with that
And
whole I'm not good enough. And yes, if we can get more parents to just And for the parents out there listening now, and I'm sure you've probably said this in every podcast you've been in, there is no perfect parent.
Mhm.
It's a myth. There is no perfect parent. But once you become aware of your patterns and you can start to make better choices, now you're growing and you can't beat yourself up and feel guilty and shameful about what you did yesterday before you heard this podcast or before someone told you about this. It's like they say, what the best time to heal was 30 years ago. The second best time is right now.
Yes.
Start making the choices now, but don't beat yourself up 1 minute
No.
about what you did. I mean, you can apologize if it was recent, you can say, I'm sorry for the way I've been acting when I get upset, but don't passion and bury yourself in that because, like you said, it just keeps you in the spiral.
In the spiral, it causes a lot of burnout. Your emotional state is you cannot move forward if you're stuck in the past. So you have to really focus on the present. Like you said, if something happened recently, apologize, close that loop. But from now on, don't focus on guilt. And like you mentioned, perfectionism is a disease when it comes to parenting. Nature is so imperfect. Be like nature.
Yeah,
Accept the fact that no day is perfect. My days are never perfect, and I'm totally okay with it. I always do my best though, and I think that's more important. Just do your best. And you know what? Some days you're just not going to perform, and that's okay. Everybody needs sometimes to be a little off, right? I mean, we
right,
can't be constantly on top of everything and just we're chasing something that doesn't exist, and it's causing so much exhaustion, and our brains cannot handle it anymore. So it's okay not to have a perfect day. It's okay if things don't go your way, and parenting definitely teaches us that things don't go our way. It's the number one thing of, yeah, things will happen that you didn't expect, things that will happen that you didn't want. Okay, so what? You just
right,
deal with what's happening in the moment. You don't start having thoughts of what will happen, and when the time is right you will handle everything, because we always do.
right.
So really being present, avoid thinking about how to be a perfect parent, and just flow. I think flow, have a nice rhythm, is
That
the
is a
best thing you could do.
that is a great, I mean, just flow is a great word. Go, I don't know how many times I tell people, just go with the flow.
Yeah.
And anxiety, I mean, what really is anxiety? Anxiety is worrying, stressing about something that happened in the past, and it's all because of past experiences, or it's catastrophizing about what you think
Yeah.
is going to happen because of what happened in the past. So it's like, no, still, that's not, your mind doesn't need to be going there. It's like, stay here right now. Like
Stay
you
here
said,
right
I mean,
now.
I mean, honestly, when you think about the times that you've done that, when you've been like, oh my gosh, this could happen, that could happen, how many times does that really happen?
It's true. And it
Never.
robs you from the moment. And the moment is like a gift present, right? The
Mm-hmm.
moment is your gift. So if you stay here and don't let your thoughts start going in all kinds of directions, I think you'll be much happier.
Oh, yeah.
Think about it. If you fill yourself with worry and anxiety and stress and guilt and shame, you don't leave any space for happiness, for
Right.
compassion, for love. It's consuming you. So, what do you want to have in your bucket today? What emotions would you like to have today? And I think once you start focusing on the positive emotions, you will start experiencing them more.
Yeah. And your brain does get rewired. And then, I
Yes.
just did a podcast the other day about how when you grew up in that dysfunctional home. Now we're on the podcast Adult Child of Dysfunction. So most of the people that are listeners did have a pretty chaotic, dysfunctional, incorrectly wired system, if you could
Yes.
say that. I mean, it just was
Yes. Yes.
because of your experiences. So you're wired to scan for the bad. And that was just one of the exercise I gave people the other day was, look around your room or just look at your experience right now and find three good things that you can find in it. I have warm sun coming in my window right now and it's
Yeah.
March. I mean, just whatever it has to be. And then you will eventually, your brain will start to be like, oh, that's a pretty flower, not, oh, that's dog poop I'm about to step in. Like literally, I mean, just those two, just that's the difference between looking at something and going, ooh, that's pretty, and ooh, that's it.
Yeah, you can always find what's wrong. But is
Always.
that what you want to focus on? Because what's wrong will always bring more wrong and
Right.
more negative uh, experiences. And I think that if you decide, I'll focus on what's positive, on what's working, on what makes me happy, then all of a sudden your days will become lighter, you'll be happier, and it is important to make that distinction of where do I want to be today? If I
Right.
wake up in the morning and I go, "Oh my God, I don't want to get out of bed. Everybody's gonna be dissatisfied around me. Everybody's gonna be yelling. My kids don't love me. I don't love myself." Then guess what? That's where your day is going. But if you wake up in the morning and you tell yourself, "Today's going to be a great day. I'm gonna hug my kids. I'm gonna tell them I love them." And they will all of a sudden notice it and their behavior will change and they'll become more positive and then everybody's just happier. So yeah, focus on what you want.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the energy you're putting into the world. I
Yes.
say that you wake up in the morning and I love Louise Hay and I love like Joe Dispenza. I love the whole
Yes.
energy thing. But you wake up in the morning and sometimes I'll just pop on her little today is your most wonderful day. And I just listen and I just lay in bed. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a great day. Versus, and I wasn't always like that. And then I started like kind of like a gratitude practice. I
Yeah.
wake up in the morning and say, thank you, God, and I would just come up with some stuff. And then eventually that kind of spilled out into, oh, thank goodness my son has passed his test yesterday. And then it spilled out into other people. And that's the bottom line is,
Yes.
especially with your kids, is whatever you're radiating, whatever energy you are putting out, they are feeling
Yeah.
and they're reacting to it too.
And that's why I started Mama Zen because I felt like I was so negative in a negative spiral that everybody around me was crying more, whining more,
Hmm.
dissatisfied. And guess what? I was depleted of my positive energy and I had to help them with their energy now. So it's even harder. So if you're projecting negative energy and then you have to clean it up because everybody else is negative as well, then you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? If you know that you are the hub of the household when it comes to emotions, then you have to do the work and it will
Yeah.
make your life so much easier.
Yep. And not this toxic positivity, like everything's good when you're dying inside. That's not what we're talking about.
No, I
It's
think it's okay to tell your children. I tell them sometimes, listen, the way you're talking right now is flooding me and I can't think. And you know what? They hear it and they're okay, I guess I should stop. Communication. It's
right,
okay to tell your child your behavior is unacceptable right now. It's actually making me irritated.
right,
What's wrong with that? And you say it calmly, you don't have to yell it. You just tell them, you are flooding me right now. I can't think. And in order to answer you, I really have to think about this.
right,
So take a break or go do something else. And while I'm thinking about it, I'll let you know when I'm ready to answer. You don't have to answer right away. You don't have to make decisions right away. It's perfectly fine to think, to take your time, and to tell them as honest as you can. I'm not okay with this behavior. It's not helping the situation. And I tell my kids, sometimes they raise their voice to me. I say, please don't yell at me.
yeah,
Yeah, instead of starting to yell at them louder, right? It
right.
doesn't
Which
work.
is
Those
the
yelling
natural.
contests,
No,
they
oh
don't
my
work.
goodness. No, they do not work. Absolutely not work. And then everybody's stressed out and everybody's crying and it also, just to reiterate kind of with the moms out there that are on that did go through that. You remember the feeling of being around your parents and walking on eggshells. And I feel like that is, I didn't even feel like I was walking on eggshells. I felt like I was walking on glass. Like
Wow.
any step could hurt so badly and
Yeah.
tear me up. So a lot of you remember that feeling. And why did you have that feeling? Because your parents, if you said something, you got yelled at. You didn't know the reaction. So yes, so emotionally being with your children and talking through your reactions, because it's okay to, like you said, it's okay to say you're not behaving properly and I need to step away for a second. It's also okay just to say, hey, I'm not in a good space right now. I'm going to come back to you. Mommy needs 5 minutes by herself. That's
Yeah.
okay too.
It's totally fine and they totally appreciate it.
Hmm.
My kids love to sing and be loud and make weird sounds after, a full day at school when they're not allowed to speak or make noise. And after a full day at work, I'm tired and it's very repetitive sounding and yeah, it can trigger my own like I need peace and quiet right now, but it's not their fault. They're just acting like kids. So I'll tell them, okay. You've been doing this for the last 30 minutes. Can we take a break?
My
And
daughter,
just,
I love it though. I can picture that happening. My daughter, when she would be like, "Rah," and I was like, what's going on? She would 3 or 4 years old. She would throw her hands up and go, I need a moment. And I never did that. So I don't know where she got that, but I was like, okay, you need a moment. I'll give you 5 moments. I'll be back. And I would just leave and let her do her thing.
yeah,
And sometimes she would growl and
yeah,
you could hear her. And I was like, that's awesome. Like, that is awesome because I wasn't allowed to do that. I would have gotten beaten if I had told my parents I needed a moment, that I needed to gather myself, I would have, oh my goodness. Or if I growled, because I was guilty of doing that when my daughter was little, when she first started doing that, I would say, don't growl at your brother. But that was her way of getting it out of like, "Ugh," she would get
yeah.
frustrated. And I'm like, that's okay. But I was like, but you can't, and then I was like, okay, that I got to let her do that. But I'm like, but don't direct it at someone. Like go in a room and,
Yeah,
beat up a pillow or whatever you need to do. But yeah, but I just remember that as a child and I just wanted it to be so much. You don't want your children learning to walk on eggshells, I guess is what I'm saying.
I
And
think
so
so. And
yeah, go ahead.
I think that you were taught to suppress your emotions. You were not taught to speak about it. And I think that the fact that you are okay with them doing it is definitely you breaking that generational cycle. But it's also it when you express your emotions and talk about it to your kids, it doesn't have to be extreme
No.
language. It can be very simple of just like I had a long day. I'm overstimulated right now, so I'm going to take 3, 4 minutes, do a session on Mama Zen, and then your kids go, what are you doing? A session on what? I want to do it too. And we have
Right.
sessions for kids to help them with their emotions and help them with sleep and anxiety and their fears. And then also everybody's doing a session in your household and everybody's very calm and relaxed and happy. And it's just an amazing way to teach your children about tools, about communication, and communication doesn't have to be complex. Keep
No.
it simple.
Keep it simple. Yep. Absolutely. So your Mama Zen app is in over 45 countries now.
It's being used in over 45 countries
That is
and
awesome.
it's amazing. That's why we call them Mama Zen because the word mama is global and the same with the word Zen. So everybody understands right away what it means and it's amazing because moms, it doesn't matter where you are. We're going through the same challenges and moms in different countries need exactly the same help.
Yes. I remember I used to do primarily talk about ACOA, which is Adult Children of Alcoholics, and some of the countries where it was like forbidden to have alcohol, even, and it was against the religion and it was against all this stuff. And they would reach out to me on my podcast and they would say, I didn't even think, I didn't even know, like, I can't say anything where I am because it's so taboo in our
Yeah.
culture, but I'm like, addiction is a universal thing. It's
Yeah.
not, yeah, it's human problems and human experiences are not unique to any situation. They're global, like you said. It's
Yes.
definitely global. So that is amazing. So tell us about the app a little bit more about how you can get it, where we can find you if we want to work, if someone wants to work with you. Do you just do the app or do you also do other stuff?
You can read my book, The Mamas
Okay.
and Parenting Method, if you prefer to read over listening to audio sessions. But I think that the audio sessions on Mama Zen are very, very effective. We have 92% user success rate,
Oh,
and we
wow.
have dedicated programs to overcoming generational cycles. So we will help you process what happened to you in your upbringing and how to break that cycle because it's really, really important for the health of your children, and helping them not grow up in households where they feel, like they can't speak and they can't express emotions. And so we're very dedicated to all stages of parenting. So we have sessions beginning in pregnancy all the way through adolescence. We have over 1,000 sessions. And we just released Sage, and she is an AI emotional concierge that helps moms figure out exactly what they need at the moment and just pulls out the perfect session out of our library. And moms have been expressing amazing results with Sage because it's so easy to find what you need now instead
Yeah.
of just searching by yourself. So I think audio is the best way to go about it. It's very powerful and repetition, right? Because the more you practice the skill, the easier it gets. So if you go on the App Store and put Mama Zen, Mamazen, you can download the app, and we offer a free trial right now, so you can try it for a week and see how you feel.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll put all of your links in the show notes and so that you have everything in there. And yes, for the listeners, did you catch that? Try it for a week, see how you feel. Sometimes it's just one tool that will make all the difference. And it's kind of like working with a coach or a therapist, it's accountability. So if you know, hey, I'm going to check into my app every 2 days or something, it's something, it's another tool that holds you accountable and reminds you to take care of yourself.
Yes, definitely. It's very easy. It's very easy to use. It's you don't have to call anywhere, you don't have to schedule, you don't have to drive anywhere. You just put in your headphones and you play the session, and you'll be done and just feel much better.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So thank you so much, Erin, for coming on. I so appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Tammy.
You're very welcome. And for all of well, before you go, you're not off the hook yet. I want you to give the listeners one final piece of advice or words of wisdom from you.
I think really accepting yourself and realizing that whatever happened to you in your upbringing was not your fault, and that you can heal, and that you can actually become a better person and teach your children skills that they will take into adulthood, and everybody will be much healthier mentally and emotionally, and you can do it. It's very, very possible to do it. So but the tools are out there, just find them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. I appreciate you. And for everybody else out there listening, just you deserve it. That's the biggest thing. We sit in this underlying ick of shame and guilt that we did something wrong as a child or whatever happened to us was our fault. Like she said, none of it was your fault. So, which means you deserve, 100% deserve to have more and better and pure joy and pure love. And as Erin said during our talk, fill it with love and compassion and joy, not stress and anxiety and fear and hate and all those icky things. Fill your energy field with all of the positive and the world will be a better place. I
It will
promise you.
be, definitely.
Promise you. So you have a great day and we will see you back next week.